Welcome to Miraculous Mamas. This is Liz Presta, and I have an amazing episode for you guys today. I'm going to be bringing on Jenna Parris and Jamie-Lynn Sigler. They started their own podcast. It's called Mama Said. They're hilarious. They're super real and raw, and I have such an amazing conversation with them. I can't wait for you guys just to get to know them a little bit better and their heart for motherhood and just wanting to bring a Vito's here with me, a non-judgmental community of women together. So they definitely share the same heart as our community. And they just have a lot of great advice to offer. But before I bring them on, I have my husband here with me.
That's pretty awesome that you got that on. You got them on.
I know.
I'm pretty excited.
I know you're excited because you have a low-key crush.
It's not low key. It's pretty regular key.
Pretty regular key crush on Jamie-Lynn Sigler. But yeah, so we wanted to have had so many people asking us since we got married to do a Q&A, and they're asking a lot of questions about me and Vito. People want to know how the wedding was, how the honeymoon was,
cool.
And just about marriage. So we're just going to answer a few questions here before I get into my interview with the other ladies.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Ooh, what was your number one favorite thing about the wedding day?
The actual wedding day?
Yes.
Well, so we had, for those of you who don't know, we got married in Glacier Park, Montana, February 22nd. And there was like 60 people there.
55-ish.
Yeah. And then afterwards, a week later, we had a reception in the Chicagoland area. So the actual wedding day, my favorite part, I would say like just the celebration afterwards, dancing and stuff. But I think the ceremony went way more smoother than I anticipated.
Oh my gosh, everything was so perfect.
So my sister actually married us, and she's never done it. You and I have never gotten married.
This is my first time.
This is my first time. And Liz and I don't really plan much. So my sister's very type A. And she's like, so what do you guys want to go do with the ceremony? And we were like, yeah, it'll be nice. And she's very type A, so she planned everything like word for word. Thank God for her.
Right.
It would have been a disaster.
She did such an amazing job.
But I think it went...
Both of us wrote our vows that morning.
Yeah. Oh, I cried like a little baby. It was so bad. I didn't know what I was going to write. And then once I started writing, I started crying.
Because you love me so
much. Mine were good. I think we both had jokes in there, inadvertent jokes.
Yes.
Yours was good.
Yeah.
Liz goes, she's doing all emotional stuff, and oh, I love you to this. And I forgot. I blacked out.
Right.
But then at the end, she's like, and I forever promise to drop it like it's hot. And I was like, oh, thank God you said something funny because it was so emotional.
I feel like my favorite part of the wedding day was, honestly, just everything from the first look. So we weren't going to do a first look. And I'm so glad that we did.
Yeah.
I felt like that was such an intimate moment, and we just got to spend that time together. And Vito said he's like, well, just so you know, I'm not going to cry when I see you. Like, I'm not going to get emotional. No, but you got a little emotional.
Well, the problem was, so we were in Montana, so it was like 16 degrees, and we were at Lake McDonald. And I was you guys had me waiting out there.
You were like in
for so
2
long.
Feet of snow
I was
waiting
numb. My hands were, and I had the hand warmers. They weren't working.
The pictures were worth it though.
My ears were not covered. So by the time you got to me, I think I was starting to like get agitated with the videographers. I was like, can you please go get her? Because I'm going to die out here. But no, it was, But
I
cool.
was peeing on the side of the road in my wedding dress with
Were
your
you?
mom and my mom holding it up for me before I came down to see you. Because when I get nervous, I have to pee.
You pee a lot on the side of the road.
This is true. But when I get nervous, I have to pee. So they were helping me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go see him. I got to pee one more time. That's how I am. Before we get on a plane, before I go to bed, anything, I pee 100 times.
No, but I was surprised because I was like, I don't know why people do first looks. You know what your wife looks like, and you know what she looks like in a white shirt. So, but you looked way more like angelic than I thought you were going to look.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah,
it was a cool.
Well,
experience.
And everything just went very smoothly and perfectly. Like even the song that I had timed out, the part that I wanted to walk down on.
Yeah,
boom, nailed it. Like everything.
For people who don't plan, it turned out really nice.
I'm a wing it kind of gal.
And the weather was nice. And the morning after
was a blizzard. Like a whiteout.
It was snowing sideways. And
Oh
we were
my
like,
gosh.
yeah, we planned that.
I'm like, oh yeah. Everyone who said, oh, why didn't you get married on a Saturday instead of a Friday? We're like, see, look outside your window.
Yeah, everything turned out really nice.
Yeah, it was actually really perfect. Okay. A lot of people are also asking about our house. What's our next project?
Ooh.
Are we going to do a house tour video?
We can.
How's the remodeling going?
We can do a video. So I bought it a year ago. I was planning on renting it out before we got engaged.
Yeah.
And then we got engaged, and I was like, all right, I'll just keep it. What? Water?
Yeah, hand me the water.
I'll keep it, and we'll move into it. Because neither of us wanted a long engagement. So the project, I did the bathroom, I think as most everybody saw. The next project is the exterior. So we have some arborvitaes coming in, and then
we just had a bunch of trees taken out.
Yeah.
We're putting in a fence, some arborvitaes, doing a
redoing
vegetable
the driveway.
garden, a flower garden, redoing the driveway, possibly painting the outside, doing some windows.
Yeah.
So we're doing all the things that aren't as fun, but that are going to make it look a lot cleaner.
Yeah, it should look a lot cooler. We can do a walkthrough, but it's still old in here.
It is. It's kind of outdated, but it's so cozy.
It's very cozy.
I feel so at home here.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
It is very cozy.
Except for we had squirrels living in our attic, and
my
they were
gosh.
terrible.
They sounded like giants. They
Finally,
were
we got
scratching.
them out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like this one doesn't apply to us. It says, any tips for keeping the spark alive and spicy in the bedroom? Because we've been married for a couple months, so the spark I feel like still alive.
Yeah.
And it's spicy.
It's Indian food spicy for sure.
Like what? Make you have diarrhea spicy?
No, there's a lot of spices.
There's a lot of spices happening. What is one thing that has surprised you about your spouse since being married?
That's a good question. Nothing.
Really?
You don't surprise me. It's terrible to say. I feel we're just really open.
Yeah.
I think your willingness. I was so nervous that you were going to bait and switch me.
Oh my gosh.
To be like, oh, I'm like a really cool person, and I talk things through. And then
that was his biggest fear. He'd always be like, don't stop doing this when we get married. Like, you do this thing for me now, and you're so cool about this now. When we get married, you can't switch.
Yeah. Well, we still talk things through. I think that surprised me. I was convinced that you were going to be bait and switch. Like, you were going to be like psycho once we got married. But you're pretty cool.
One thing that surprised me, which I actually talk with the ladies later, is how much I realize we don't listen to each other. We do, but we don't, because remember when we were looking at that, I noticed it first when we were on our honeymoon and we were looking at that lizard, and I was like, oh, that's like 3 feet long. And later you're like, that was way bigger than 2 feet. And I was like, I said 3 feet. You're like, you said 2 feet. I'm like, if 3 sounds like 2, then yeah, that's what I said, but that's not what I said. So it's things like that where we're constantly repeating stories to each other. I'm like, I told you this. And you'll be like, Liz, I told you this. And I'm like, when were we having these make-believe conversations with each other?
I think I have an actual hearing problem, but I think you have a distraction problem, because you for sure said 2 feet.
No, I didn't.
But I think for you, it's more you're distracted
I
with
wasn't.
other
I
stuff.
was just.
No.
We were
Like
standing in the pool.
when you don't hear me.
Oh, probably.
I feel like you're more distracted when
but I
don't.
told you, babe, you can't talk to me if I have my phone in my hand or whatever. Like my
so
attention.
I can't talk to you ever.
That's baloney. And I will fight you right here, right now. He is looking for what is it called? A cruising for a bruising.
Cruising for a bruising.
No, but you know I can't multitask.
Yeah, 100%.
At all.
No.
So.
But there was this lizard.
Me.
We were on the PP Islands, and there was these birds that were diving at the top of this palm tree, and they were squawking and stuff. And we're like, what the heck's going on over there? And there was this, what was the name of the lizard?
Monitor.
There was a monitor lizard. It had to been like 3 feet long. It was huge, climbing straight up the tree, and it actually ate the
palm
eggs
tree.
out of the nest.
Destroying this nest. These
birds
were
not
diving
happy.
at it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, though.
Crazy. All right. A lot of people want to know about babies.
Babies?
Yeah.
Oh, like
babies.
Us. Yeah. So, can you say it?
Can I say what?
You were late, but you
Oh
got
my
your period.
gosh. Yeah.
So Liz was how late? Like 8 days?
8 days late. Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. Well, not oh no, like I don't want a baby, but I don't feel like I'm mentally there yet. But it definitely opened my eyes. Like maybe we'll start earlier than we thought.
Maybe. We'll see. We don't have like a set plan. We have a loose plan.
Yeah.
Of we're going to prevent for a while.
Yeah.
Some people were asking about our form of birth control. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing.
I mean, just anything and everything.
we wrap it up. And then people were, I mean, we're going to prevent for a while.
I would be curious to hear your listeners, your community, how many planned their pregnancies and how many were like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I hear a lot of stories of people like, oh, the first time we actually tried, it happened. And people are like, man, we tried for months and it didn't happen. And then finally when we just kind of gave up, then it happened.
Right.
Or some people are like, yo, prom night, you know?
Yeah. That would be interesting to know because we don't have a set plan on when we're going to try. We have a plan maybe how long-ish we want to prevent, and then we'll probably just not actively try.
I think comes down to what I want.
I don't. Come on, babe.
Really? If I want us to have kids, because you don't know when the magic happens.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I
don't say anything.
Whether you put a condom on or not.
Right. Well. We'll see.
Again.
We'll see. I would say we'll start trying later this year. Or not. We'll start not trying.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll probably actively try for a while.
Right. Well, if we end up getting a dog, then we're gonna wait.
Yeah, I want a dog really bad. He's a lot.
I want one
than
too.
I am.
So guys, we should take another poll.
No.
So Liz wants a rescue dog, which I'm totally cool with. Rescue dog. There's plenty of dogs out there that need homes. My thing is, I love dogs, but to have it in the house, I don't want a dog that sheds. All the dogs that you can adopt shed. Why?
Well, because most of them are mutts, so you don't even know necessarily what they are.
Just don't shed.
Well, you can tell them that all you want, but we'll figure it out.
So we're looking at sheepadoodles. If you don't know what they are, Google them. They're the cutest things in the world.
I said, let's get a sheepadoodle and let's rescue one. They're going to be best friends, and it's going to be so cute.
We're going to get 2 sheepadoodles.
And we have their names picked out. Don't tell them.
Okay.
Don't tell them the names. Okay.
You can't do that to them. Now they're going to be like, what are the names?
Well, now you got to get me dogs so we can tell them the names.
All right. We'll
People want to know, I like this question. Where did it go? What is our greatest thing that you've accomplished both individually and then together?
What's the greatest thing I've accomplished?
Yeah.
I don't want to be cheesy.
You're going to be cheesy.
Locking you down.
Babe, that wasn't hard.
It's the greatest thing I've accomplished.
The greatest thing I accomplished was locking you down, because that was hard.
Okay, whatever. No, I think my greatest accomplishment truly is being able to allow myself to be vulnerable with you and like to just love on a crazy deep level. And then together, I would say just the amount of time that we've spent together in extremely uncomfortable situations, like whether it's driving for 3 days straight or camping in the Havasupai.
Or camping in 30-degree weather where we're freezing.
Right. So, like, we've seen the worst of each other. Like, I've seen you poop in a field.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I think that's our biggest accomplishment is being so, I don't know what the word is. Like, supporting each other. Like, just choosing to partner in life with each other. That would say that's my version of what's our greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
What about you?
Individually, I feel like it's really hard to say. I feel like feel like I've accomplished so much. Just kidding. No, I don't know. I'm really proud of a lot of things that I did on my own. I feel like just traveling the world by myself was a big accomplishment because I felt like in those years I did that, I was truly fearless.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, I mean, I was scared of other things like letting anyone close or whatever, but I felt pretty invincible and I thought that was pretty cool. But I think an accomplishment for me is actually finishing projects. Anytime I finish something, that's an individual accomplishment for me. Because I'm that person with like 12 different half projects. And then, yeah.
What about us together?
I agree with you. I think one thing that we accomplished together is I think both of us are really good at, just being real and raw with each other and allowing other people to do the same with us. You know, we have a lot of relationships with people in our life that they feel that they can open up to us.
Right.
You know, and that we encourage that, I guess, in other people.
Yeah.
You definitely have seen me at my worst. And that was hard because some of that was during some of the happiest times of our life. You know, that was probably one of the hardest times you've seen me go through. You know, was a couple months ago. But,
yeah.
But I think that just made us stronger.
Yeah.
Because I saw a different side of you. You've probably never seen me be so weak. And during that, you were so much my rock.
Right.
You know, so I think that one thing I just feel like we're very, very good at when you're being, I don't want to say weak because I don't even see it as weakness. When you're allowing yourself to feel and go through something, like I'm there for you. And when I'm there, like when I'm like, I need you to be my rock now, you are. And when you need me to be your rock, I am.
I think it's okay to say that like I have weak moments or weak times and you do. I think they're weak in the sense of it's something that we haven't found a way to process or a way to act in a certain situation. And you're my rock when I need you, and I'm your rock when you need me, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we're super new at this, guys, so ask us in
here. Yeah. I mean, we have no idea what we're talking about.
But we've been through some crazy things together. I mean, just even
for sure
traveling and experiencing a lot of different life situations.
Well, was it this morning or yesterday morning? I woke up and I was like, rolled over and like gave you a hug, and I was like, like, what do you want to do today? Let's go like play tag or something. Like,
I know,
you're my best friend. It's fun.
We are having fun.
We definitely have no idea what we're talking about or what we're doing.
Zero.
As far as
but we're having a good time doing it.
Marriage goes, yeah, it's fun so far.
Okay,
I'm pretty pumped.
Just a couple more questions. Do we plan on staying in Chicago?
You know, yeah. So I have a lot of family here. Family's huge for me, and I know it is huge for you too. Illinois is a terrible place to live, in my opinion. I've lived here my whole life. It's very, I don't know. It's very flat. The seasons are great. The people are great, but the the politics and Chicago's in so much debt, and the taxes just keep getting raised, and the highways are a lot of potholes and stuff. But the people are great. But I think if all of my family decided to move somewhere, that we would move. I think Colorado would be cool.
Yeah, but entire family, we mean we're going to have to uproot your brother and wife and their kids and your sister and her husband and their kids.
And they're down.
And your parents who...
And they're down. They'll go wherever we go.
I just don't believe it.
It's possible. I don't see it happening, but it's possible.
I feel like...
Denver's a cool area.
I had this conversation with, I think, your sister or Gracia the other day. This area has really grown on me, and I mean, your family's my family now, and I can see myself, and I love this house. I feel like I could see myself living here for the rest of my life.
Yeah, there's
100%.
Yeah.
But I just want to stay open to whatever God has.
True.
And that our roots are in Him and in each other, and we can, make a home wherever we go. So,
well, I think it's important too to not attach yourself to a place, whether it's a physical home or a city or like a region, because at any moment this house can burn down or we can lose our jobs and not be able to pay the mortgage or whatever.
Right.
And I've seen it happen. And it's just, like you said, to find your home in each other and in God, and know that, like, home is everywhere. But it is nice to have a home, like a physical home that you can raise children and, like, I miss my childhood home, but really at the end of the day, it's just wood and shingles and, it's just material.
Right. So somebody wants to know if you speak Italian fluently, and I know that he's going to say no, but he does.
I don't.
He does.
So I don't. But I've taken 4 years. So my parents spoke Italian growing up. All my grandparents speak Italian. Aunts and uncles all speak Italian. I think most of my cousins do. I took 4 years of Italian at DePaul. But it's different. There's like proper Italian, which is a beautiful language. And then there's dialects, which my parents speak and my grandparents speak. And they're all very different. So like if I go to Italy, yeah, sure. I could live there. But at home, there's too much to, like, pizza's pizza, pasta.
All right, it is story time, and I know I've told you guys that I am trying to convince Vito to let me get a dog. Well, he's convinced. Woohoo! But we can't agree on a dog. So now I'm trying to convince him to let us get 2 dogs. We'll get one that he wants, one that I want, and they're going to be the 2 best friends that they have ever met in their lives, and it's going to be amazing. But before we have kids, we want to be pet parents. And the reason I'm not worried if we get 2 different dogs is because I know that there's an amazing company out there that's going to help us be the best pet parents that we can be, and that is Puppo. My brother-in-law used Puppo for his dog and absolutely loved it. His name's Romeo. I'm obsessed with him. I know that I've told you guys about him before, but it's such a cool company because they personalize the nutrition for your dog, and they have pet nutritionists. There's quality ingredients. There's an amazing smart delivery system, and you get to pick out the flavor profile for your dog. But how they find the best food for your dog is they take all these different factors into consideration when making a nutrition plan for your animal. They take into consideration the age, the size, the mouth size, activity levels, the special needs, if there's sensitivities, what the healthy weight is for your dog, the flavor preferences, and then immunity to outdoors. Did you know that if your dog spends a lot of time outdoors, that they need to maintain a healthy immunity system with nutrients like E, A, and zinc, and of course, good healthy protein for them? I can tell you that Romeo loved it, and it's something that I've already looked into for our dogs. Yes, dogs, because I'm going to convince them to let us get 2. Because I know the 2 different kind of dogs that we want to get. So I've already looked on there, done some research, found some foods that the pet nutritionist recommended. And I'm excited to try it out for my personal dog. We tried it out for Romeo. And I'm excited that we have an offer for you guys so that you can be the best dog parents that you can be. So visit puppo.com/babes to get 14 days of personalized dog food delivered for only $9. That's Puppo, PUPPO.com/babes to get 14 days of personalized dog food delivered for only $9. That's Puppo, PUPPO.com/babes. Somebody asked if it's weird when you call me your wife, and I don't think so. I love it.
No, I try to call you my girlfriend as much as possible.
I know. I like that too. I catch myself calling you my boyfriend a lot.
I'm fine with that.
Because we decided we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever.
And it's kind of like naughty.
Right. Oh, my boyfriend. Don't tell my husband, but it's you.
Such a dork.
Oh my gosh. You have no idea. Well, you have an idea. They don't know how big of a dork I am.
So you were reading earlier, someone asked you, how do you keep your identity? Your individual identities. And obviously, we've been married for
as a couple,
a month, or I don't even know how long. But I think it's an important question to go over because I think a lot of people maybe lose themselves either in marriage or in motherhood. Obviously, everyone who listens.
I talk a little bit with the ladies later about losing it in motherhood, and obviously I don't have personal experience with that.
So we don't really have much experience as a married couple. What I would say is something I do think about because I married you.
Mm-hmm.
right? I love you. And as much as like I'll critique or you'll critique or we're trying to like figure each other out, I consciously catch myself telling myself like, no, I love you for you. So like when I do see you talking more like me or thinking more like me, I'm like, no. Like, don't be me. Don't take on my tendencies. Don't,
You have a few tendencies I really want to take on.
Which ones?
Your organization skills.
Oh, God, please.
Babe, I'm getting better.
You are. But you know what I'm saying, though?
Right.
Like, to keep your identity,
Yeah.
I think you just have to be conscious of, like, when you get married, like, go back to the time you and your husband or your wife, you were getting married. It's like, I'm so in love with you, and I don't want you to change. Obviously, I want you to grow, and I want us to grow together. But to keep your personal identity, do whatever makes you happy, and I'm going to support you. It's not like you're in my life now, so you have to alter your life to fit mine or vice versa. But I'm guessing with having kids, it's a lot harder just because you're playing mom all day.
Right.
But I think as a man, as a husband, and as a father, it's our responsibility to make sure that you are remembering who you are and what makes you happy. And you are mom, but you're also a ton more, It's a conscious effort, I think. But
it has to be a conscious effort. Otherwise, you'll lose yourself in it for sure.
Right. But for me, it's definitely like reminding you, like, no, I love you for you. Like, you're not organized. And as much as I would love for you to be organized, it's very cute that you're not organized. You're like, oh, where's my phone?
Right.
Whatever. I
that
lost my
drives
phone.
You crazy more
or,
than
oh, where are
cuteness.
my keys? It's like, where could they have gone? We just got out of the car.
Yeah.
But it's, like I love that about you, though.
But I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me,
But I love that about you. And as much as I want you to just have your phone when we leave the house, like, you lose your phone in seconds.
Right.
As much as I would love that, I love you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it'll drive you crazy, though, for sure, because it already has. But I don't feel like I don't know. I feel like you're pretty strong in the person that you are, and I don't feel like you haven't taken on my tendencies that much.
I feel like I've learned to let things roll off my shoulder more, for sure. Where before I would be like, no, it's got to be this way. Where you're like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like or it could be this way,
right.
too.
I feel like I've taken that on. Have I not?
Yeah. I feel like we're both pretty laid back, but I think that some advice that was given to me is that it's important to keep friends in your relationship and to still have friendships and not just like never do anything with your friends because you're married now,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been home 10 days for my honeymoon and I had a girls' night and stayed downtown Chicago without you. But I mean, I missed you the whole time. I didn't feel good. But, I think it's important to have that, to have date night, but also have girls' night or have guys' night. And,
I think too, that's extremely important, not only for you, but for your children as well.
Yeah.
I think when you fuel yourself and you're
maybe that's not how some people fuel themselves. So if
No, I'm not saying go out to fuel yourself.
Why can't I say that word? Fuel yourself. Yeah. You definitely need to fuel yourself. And yours, it might not be girls' night or guys' night.
Maybe it's reading or writing or
just
breathing.
Nourishing your soul.
Right. But I think it's best for your children as well. I mean, I see it in my family and everything. Like, you need, like, do you, boo-boo, like you need to do whatever fuels you, whatever nourishes you, because then your kids see that and they feel it, and right. I know it's hard to get away, but like whatever, even if it's just like taking a bath.
Right.
Or whatever.
We'll have to come back to this after we pop out a few babies. But if you do want to know more about our relationship, we have some exciting news.
Yeah. What is it?
You say it.
So we're actually gonna start a podcast, us two hosting it. It's basically just gonna be us talking every week about the week, because we're new to this and we have no idea what's going on. And we hope that more of you are new to this or a couple years in or whatever, and we can kind of do this together. But we're in it for the long haul, and it's going to be about us growing together as a couple, starting a family, what that's like, the struggles, the ups, the downs. Because everyone's always like, oh, marriage. Oh, yeah, it's cute. You're in your honeymoon phase. Like, that's all cute and stuff. Like, just wait.
Right. They're like, so it's good now. And
right. It seems like everybody's kind of got like a negative.
Right. When we're getting married, everyone's like, oh, don't do it. And we're like, wow, this sounds fun.
Right. So I guess the way I look at our podcast is kind of like our therapy.
Yeah.
For each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be, I'm not going to hold anything back.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. But, I mean, if you want to go through the journey with us, especially if you're at the same phase, but even if you're not, we're going to definitely bring some people on, but we already have some amazing topics. It's going to be about us.
Yeah.
Also,
what we were
spiritually
talking about,
and
very spirit. We're Christians, and we're open with. At least I am, like people who are Muslim or Jewish or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
very accepting, but I think just us growing in our faith and growing together. But one of the conversations we had on our honeymoon was about when couples. I don't remember exactly what it was, but when couples like need each other, we were talking about how
versus want.
Well, and choosing too. So we talked about it for like hours. So we're going to talk about like topics as well as struggles we're going through, like how Liz doesn't close any of the cupboard doors.
Yeah, I've been doing better.
You have. No, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah,
for sure. And hopefully we could bring on some other married couples as guests.
Well, we want to bring on
like
people who have been married for 40 years and people who are also recently married and people who have been in it for 10 years. I would love
to get like 80-year-olds who've been married for life.
100%.
And so it's going to be fun. So, I mean, we know this is going to be hard. We know that we're in our honeymoon phase. We know that's going to take work. So basically we're going to do this podcast.
Well, when this episode comes out, our podcast will be out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be called The Long Haul. Mm-hmm. And look for it.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good time.
Because we're in it for the long haul.
We're in it to win it in the long haul.
If you guys didn't know, Liz is actually a good singer.
I'm all right.
No.
I like to have fun, but I'm okay.
She's a good singer. That wasn't good.
No.
What were you singing before the podcast started?
I was singing.
Was it NSYNC or something? Right?
Yeah, it was boy band songs.
Everybody.
You're not going to get me to do it.
Do it.
No. Anyways, I am bringing these ladies on right now. I'm super excited again for you guys to chat with them. They are awesome. And I know so many people have been asked to hear from them and also been asking about other podcasts to listen to, and theirs is amazing. So yeah, I'm going to bring on Jenna Parris and Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
Rock your body, right? Come on.
I'm not going to do it.
Back streets back.
All right. All right, guys, I have Jamie-Lynn Sigler and Jenna Parris here. They recently launched their podcast called Mama Said this year, which is super exciting. I've been listening to it, and it is amazing. I know I have a lot of listeners who have asked, what other mom podcasts would you recommend? And your guys' podcast is hilarious.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I actually have a lot of questions from that because I've been listening. I'm like, hey, what happened with the Delta thing? I don't know, Jenna.
I mean, I'll tell you whenever you want to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. But why don't you guys just tell everyone a little bit about yourselves?
You want to start?
Sure. I'm Jamie. I'm a mom of 2 little boys, Bo, who's 5.5, and Jack, who is almost 15 months. I'm an actress. I was on a show called The Sopranos for a very long time and Entourage, amongst many other things. But I've been kind of it all. I've been an independent young woman, married. I've been a working mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I just feel like I've kind of been through it all. And then especially once having my second, I just felt like all of the feelings and emotions that I went through during my first adventure with motherhood, where I felt so alone and isolated and kind of not understood or heard. I wanted to make sure that didn't happen again the second time around. And Jenna was like a friend of a friend, and I knew her husband, but we were both pregnant with our seconds at the same time. And she became kind of that person that I could kind of admit my, scary feelings to and vent to and relate to. And in our conversations, we just realized that these type of talks were important. And that's kind of how this podcast came to be. But I'll let Jenna tell you who she is as well.
Hi. So that's exactly how it came to be. But I'm Jenna. And I have 2 kids. One is a 3.5-year-old boy, and I have a 15-month-old girl. They're amazing. I'm having the best time seeing how different they are as children. I have an amazing husband, and he's just an amazing hands-on dad, a crazy, incredible hard worker. Both of us have amazing families. And I don't know. I think parenting has been hard for me. As much as I love my children, I love my kids. It's never easy for me. Every day is a challenge
for anyone.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just really open about talking about it. And I think that's why this podcast was so important for us to start. It was almost like we started because we needed an outlet. Yes. We were talking about it all the time, about our woes and our hardships and our mommy wins and fails. But we knew that we were super open about it, and we would talk about it with other people, and they appreciated our honesty. Mm-hmm. So we were like, we could use this and create a platform for other people to feel like they're not alone. And so we did, and we pounded the pavement and got ourselves a podcast.
We can't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, it was very organic the way it happened. I always thought about, what am I going to do for work when I go back to work? And this happened so organically and so smoothly, and it felt right, and it worked out, and I'm happy it did.
And it's been a lot of fun to connect and make sort of a community. We have a Facebook community of our listeners, and they all talk to each other. I mean, it's not just about us, and they rely on each other for advice and mm-hmm. share funny stories and share wins and fails. And that's what this is all about. Is just commiserating and celebrating all the aspects of motherhood.
Yeah, that's so amazing, and it's so important. And you guys kind of kickstarted it with who am I now that I'm a mom? Mm-hmm. And I think that that's an identity that all women, after they kind of have their rites of passage into motherhood, go through. And you had mentioned also that you have that community of moms to be heard, because that is so needed. Moms need to be validated in their journey to know that they're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that too, a lot of the times, when moms, even if it's before they're going back to work, those first couple of months are so intense and so scary, especially when it's your first time around. But also too, if you make the drastic change to being a stay-at-home mom, you can feel like you're just not part of the world anymore, because you're just so focused on this little human and keeping them alive. And it's just a reminder that no, your feelings are important and you are heard. And we all go through this, because also too, people compare themselves to the snippets they see on social media or things. And people aren't sharing the nitty and the gritty and we like to say, the pretty and the shitty.
Right.
Of motherhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was listening too, and you had talked about, finding friends as moms. And I feel like that's a question that gets brought up a lot, because when you're in that transition of life, some people kind of fall out of your life. They're not mm-hmm. having kids yet. They can't relate to you. They don't want to just come over and visit you during their free time. And then you kind of find new friends. Can you just kind of touch on a little bit of your guys' journey finding mom friends?
Yeah, for me personally, I have a mix of friends. I have a really good group of friends that had kids before me. So I was lucky enough to just, join in on their journey, and they helped me a lot. And then I have another group of best girlfriends that don't have kids yet. And I'm really fortunate that those girls who still don't have kids are very hands-on with my kids. They don't shy away just because they don't have kids. Granted, we don't go out all the time anymore together, but they are really aunties to my kids, even though they don't have kids. And I think if they choose to be mothers one day, they're going to be amazing moms because of that. But I've also experienced, having not a fallout of a friendship, but, kind of just parting ways. And, you're not as similar to a person as you thought you were before you had kids. And that's okay too. I try to be to remain friends with all of my friends as much as I can. It's really important to me, but I do also realize that you can't do that when you have kids. Your kids are your most important. And if something's not fitting in to the equation, like you're trying to like keep a friend for some sort of reason, they don't want to hang out with you, or you guys have just, have different paths, that's okay. You have to, let it go. And maybe something down the line will bring you guys back together. I have also friends who didn't have children for a while. And when they did have kids, it brought us closer together because we had that something in common again.
Yeah.
So I think it just ebbs and flows. I think the friend thing, I'm lucky enough to have my core group of girls that won't go anywhere. And I thank my lucky stars for that.
I think kids or no kids also, I mean, like it just in life. I mean, sometimes, you grow apart from people, you're at different stages of your life. It just happens naturally sometimes with certain friendships. But I think when you become a parent, life gets bigger, but also smaller because you also don't have as much time. So it's not so much that you might be like completely cutting people out of your life, but I think your close-knit crew gets a lot tighter because you have a lot less time and a lot less of yourself to share, which you can look at it as a positive or a negative, but I choose to look at it as a positive because you have just like your intense little village. Yeah. And you have other friends as well, which is nice to connect. But I think that, motherhood intensifies every relationship in your life and intensifies and just makes your heart grow, but like your emotions and your sensitivity and all the things in your life get a lot sharper. And so I think it's only natural that kind of friendships can change in and out of that.
I think you nailed it kind of with the sensitivity thing because I'm a sensitive person in general, but then having kids, it just heightened my sensitivity. Yeah. So if a friend does something to me and I feel something, I'm going to talk to them about it, but I'm also super sensitive, whereas they might not understand why I'm like crying about it or being super sensitive. But the truth is I love my friends and I don't want anything to change. And that's not reality.
Life changes.
Yeah.
And that's one thing kids will teach you is just, as soon as you think you have it figured out, it changes again.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something that you guys just speak so honestly about on your podcast, which again is so important. You talk about, you're very open about how you guys have different parenting styles as well. But you're friends. Because you guys don't judge each other,
No, I mean, that's the numero uno thing for Mama Said is that this is a no judgment zone because we pass enough self-judgment on ourselves as moms and as human beings and as women. And this is a place to celebrate each other and encourage each other because in the end of the day, we're all doing the best we can. And we're all just trying to be the best moms and raise the best kids because it's such a responsibility and you always feel like you're screwing it up.
Yeah.
And this is a place for you to feel like you have all the support in the world because that's what Jenna gave me when we started our relationship. And so that's what we wanted to give back to, all of these parents out there.
Exactly. And likewise for Jamie, I mean, I needed that comfort at 2 a.m. and she gave it to me every single morning at 2 a.m.
Because we were both awake.
Yeah. We were awake, feeling shitty. But I think if the end result as a mom or as a dad is for their child to be loved and grow up to be a good person and be kind, I don't care how they get there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I used to judge way more and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'll still judge, but then I stop myself and say, you know what? They want their kids to be amazing just like I do. And they want their kids to be loved just like I do. So if they want them to do XYZ, who cares?
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, I think the key component there is that you said, I stop myself. I think initially it's so easy to judge. We all do it just subconsciously, but catching yourself and being like, the important thing is that we raise good human beings at the end of the day,
I think that's your number one job as a parent is to just give them a moral compass and try and just raise kind, human, considerate, empathetic humans. Because truthfully, I mean, the older our kids get, the more I realize like they really are who they are. Like Bo, who's my 5-year-old is just his own personality and I have obviously some influence, but not he. And my second one is a completely different little kid. So, it's very cool and it's a thing to witness. And it's also a privilege to watch them grow up. But, it's my job to remind them how to be good humans.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I listened to your podcast, I mix your guys' voices up. Does anybody ever tell you that?
Really?
Oh.
I love Jenna's voice, and I feel like mine is so obnoxious.
No. Oh my God. I tell everyone that every time I come to Podcast One, where we do our podcasts here, I feel like I'm taking a master class in how to speak on the radio, or like how to speak in general. I'm a singer, and this is so different.
I told Jenna she has like a Dr. Laura voice to me.
So
soothing. And mine's like the shrill one that like comes in with the curse words.
I disagree.
I appreciate you all for making me feel a lot better, but
there's times
always think about my voice.
Well, there's times I can tell when it's Jenna, because she does kind of have this soothing thing going on. But when you guys are just both talking, like into your story, I mix your guys' voices up. So one of you said this, and I don't know which one of you said it. You said you were talking about, motherhood and the beginning of it, and you said you thought you were supposed to know what to do, so you didn't ask for help.
I think that might have been me.
I think that was Jamie.
Yeah, and that was such a powerful statement, I felt like, because a lot of women, that's the way that they feel. They have this baby, and it's like your motherly instincts are supposed to kick in, and everything's supposed to be right in the world, and so you feel like you can't ask for help, and that's just so far from the truth.
So far. I'm sure as a doula, like that's your job, is to aid these young mothers in not only helping take care of the baby, but helping take care of them.
Yeah.
And I think that it's everything. It's the breastfeeding. It's all that, like, if it's not coming quick and natural, which, by the way, I've spoken to a lot of different moms, and I don't know anyone who has clicked from the get-go where breastfeeding is just like A-okay easy. And I thought that was supposed to be. And I had took 2.5 weeks for my first son to latch. And it was a lot of tears and a lot of frustration and a lot of help that I didn't ask for, that I needed, that it was just could have been a lot easier of a time had I reached out, but I thought I was supposed to get it, and I thought it was supposed to be a lot easier, and I thought I was just supposed to know because this is nature. And I think that what we forget is that in the olden days, people had literally like an entire village helping.
It takes a village. It really
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so many women just feel so isolated in their journeys, which is why it's so amazing that there's podcasts now, because I'm sure you guys get people who reach out to you who's like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't get out much, but I look forward to hearing your podcast every week when it comes out, because I feel like I'm in community with you. I feel like I'm chatting with you about these things, and I can just relate.
Yeah, it literally makes my day when women write that to us, whether it's like on Instagram or on the Facebook page. It truly
I take a
lifts
picture
me up.
every time.
You do? I love that, because it does. It's just like, this is why we're doing it. It's just like Jenna said, I mean, this is almost like selfish for us. This is therapy for us. We're having guests and getting to communicate with other moms and experts, and it's great. But then you realize, but at the same time, there's other people out there that are benefiting from us just being honest and are sharing their vulnerability and honesty back with us, which makes us feel better about our choices and our fears and and all of it. And so it's just it's a wonderful, I think that in our parents' generations and then all the generations past, they didn't have the outlet to be open and honest. They had this to keep the facade that it was easy, that it was natural, that it was perfect. And we're really breaking those barriers now. And I think we're a more conscious generation now. And I just think that it's such a privilege to be living in this time and to be able to have these platforms and these groups of women that are just gathering together to be like, no, it's hard, and it's not always fun, and it's not always easy. And we all love our kids. And like you said, we all have the same goals, but it's just, we need to be able to communicate with each other. So we take that pressure off ourselves.
Yeah, that is so important. And that's why, podcasts like yours and this one, and I know there's others, are just so needed. It's a cool time to be able to connect with people virtually, even though there's a lot wrong with the virtual world as well. But
a lot wrong.
I mean, there's so much comparison, so if you can steer away from that and use it for community and connection, instead of comparison and self-judgment, it can be a very powerful thing.
Beautifully said. Exactly.
Yeah. You guys get a lot of awesome guests on your show too.
We do.
It's been crazy. We've had to like not turn down people, just be like, oh, we're booked
like, we'll
till
see you
August.
in July and August. Yeah, we're
That's
really
awesome.
lucky.
We thought we were going to struggle. And Jenna and I actually even keep saying, because our first episode was just the two of us and it was so magical and it was so fun.
Yeah.
And then ever since, we've had a guest every show, and we keep saying, God, we've got to make time to have it be just us again.
Sounds like our personal lives.
Right.
With our husband.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
That's awesome though, because you bring on people who, and you get them to open up on your show, you know, and it's just normalizing motherhood that, hey, look at this person. They're going through it too.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's just it's just another opportunity to show another mom from another walk of life that has another job or another type of personality or another parenting style that is feeling the same stuff.
Yeah, and I love having someone well known on the show, because people, you know, tend to think, oh, if they're an actor or a celebrity, their life is perfect.
Right.
I've thought that before about celebrities. Like, their life is perfect. They don't have emotions. Like, they don't have anything wrong. And they come on. And I mean, Jamie, you're an actor.
I remember I put something on Facebook of like the mess I had to clean up one Sunday night. And somebody wrote on the Facebook page like, oh, it's great to know that celebrities have to clean up the same mess. I was like, what? Of course. I have two
They're
kids
just
and
like
two
us.
little boys. And like everybody eats and throws toys around. Of course I have the same mess every Sunday night.
A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't, and when they come on their show, they're not celebrities. They're not well known. They are just moms. And awesome to hear the struggle.
You're exactly right. Exactly, Jenna.
Yeah. Well, you guys, do you mind sharing with the listeners some of the guests that you've had on?
Sure.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, we put out a show, let's see, with Haley Duff, Joanna Garcia Swisher, Odette, and Dave Annabelle came on, which was cool to have a guy and a husband and wife on to talk about couples therapy.
That was awesome.
We have a show coming out with Marla Sokoloff and Katie Lowe.
We had Claire Holtz.
We have Whitney Port coming on.
We had one of my favorites, Christina Perry on.
Christina
that was
Perry.
So fun. Oh my God.
We just recorded a show with Dr. Jen Mann, who like literally just gave Jen and I like
a therapy
session. I cried
like 4 seconds ago.
Yep. I fully cried. Had to contain myself. You
guys are fresh off the feelings then.
Yes. Yes.
I'm vibing it right now. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's awesome. I was listening to your couples therapy one, and that was hilarious. It was interesting. It was interesting getting the man and the woman's perspective, you know?
Yeah. Right. We're having
more.
On.
Yeah. We're having our husbands. We're going to get more dads on.
Definitely.
I think it's nice to, even for our female driven audience, to hear the guy's side of you.
Yes, because it is. And one of the things that we kind of actually touched on today in the show we recorded today with Dr. Mann was like actually understanding that our husbands can have a say because it's their kids too.
Yeah,
and
they're half of this.
We've got to check. We're totally open to checking ourselves as well. And it's not everybody needs it, but we did.
Yeah, I think Jamie and I and most every other mom we're just trying to be the best mom we could be and the best wife we could be. But to navigate how to do that is almost impossible because you have no time in your day and like you try to do it, but then you're so stressed by the end of the day that you forget what you're supposed to do. I almost like need to start writing things down to remember to like check in with my husband and check in. Like these guests that we have on give us such good suggestions. That I'm so grateful that we have that, and
different perspectives.
Yeah,
it does. We, like I said, we benefit a lot. From this.
Really do. It's totally selfish and obsessed.
I don't know what it is about being married because I mean I've only been married a couple months, but the way that we listen to each other has changed. Like. And not for the better. Like we were on our honeymoon and we saw this giant lizard or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a huge lizard. It's like 3.5 feet. And later he's like, babe, that was so much bigger than 2 feet. And I said it was 3.5 feet. He's like, you said it was 2 feet. And I'm like, if 2 sounds like 3, then yeah, that's what I said. But like, it just, it's like constantly like, I don't know how, like we don't hear each other anymore. It's like we got married and moved in together and we no longer hear each other.
It's part of it.
Start couples therapy now. Because there's something. No, I'm not kidding. It's not because there's something wrong with you guys. It's to get the tools to live a happy marriage and be the best couple you could be. And then when you have kids, it'll play into that. So
Yep.
I wish
make your team strong.
Get the tools.
Yep.
We have really good communication. We met because we're both certified life coaches. And so we used to like coach each other, which now it's like, don't coach me right now, I'm venting. But, but
like, I don't want your opinion. I just want you to listen.
Right. I know that I'm supposed to do this. Okay. But I'm just feeling it. But he cracks me up. So we came back from our honeymoon, and my periods are super regular. But if I travel or if I'm stressed, sometimes they're off. And I was supposed to get it. We were in Thailand, so I was supposed to get it the day we were heading back. But we were flying for 24 hours and all these different things. And I mean, I eventually got it, so I'm not pregnant. But it was 8 days late, which is super weird for me. And we're at he has a huge Italian family, and we're with family all the time. So we get back, and then we're at a barbecue at his brother's house, and we walk in and we're talking. I'm pouring myself a glass of wine, and he just goes, well, Liz's period's 5 days late. And I look at him and I'm like, babe, are you kidding me right now?
Oh my.
As you're pouring the wine.
I know. But
like anyone needed to know that.
What?
I said like anyone.
Like everyone needs to know.
Like everyone, yeah, like no one needed to know.
Well, we knew I wasn't like, I'm not pregnant, but it was like, I was like, babe, if when we do get pregnant, like we have to talk about these things, because I don't like, that's not how we're going to tell people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you've got to be on the same page. You got to be on board together. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would say most of it.
Marriage is, I mean, it's like there's so much that's like blended together that it just feels like he probably feels like he's talking about himself and not just you in that. So there do need to be some conversations for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did have a conversation after that, but
good.
Our community, we're good at not like keeping things, like if something's bothering me, I just tell him. If something's bothering him, he'll just tell me, which is good. And
that's important, because I think sometimes then once you have kids, you don't have the time all of a sudden, like sometimes in the moment, to say what you're feeling, because you either don't want to say it in front of your kid or you're distracted by your kids. And then a day, a week, a month could go by, and it could build up and could build up and could build up. And it could be way worse of a conversation, or way more of a loaded conversation than it could have been in the instant when you were feeling something. So I think to have that habit now of you guys communicating that way before that next stage of your life is going to be helpful.
For sure. Agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like doing this podcast too, even just working as a doula, but having the guests that we bring on and the community that I'm now a part of, you start to just really see how hard that transition is. And you can think, oh, this might not, we have such a solid foundation in this, it might not affect, I'm not going to be that mom that, whatever. And it's like, but then you have kids and you're like, no, the transition is hard. It does affect your relationship. No matter what, and not saying it's all negative or all positive, but your whole life changes.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Yes.
We're like,
every aspect of it, every single aspect. And by the way, it's funny. I have a good friend from high school that I just saw when I went on a trip back to New York.
Neil's camp friend?
Yes,
my husband's camp friend.
And she was I said, oh, how's your husband? And she's like, we're going through it right now. And I said, you know what? It's the first year. Every single couple I know goes through icky. It's just a hard transition in the first year of a child's life. It's a lot of unknown. It's a lot of feelings. It's just a lot of things that happen. And obviously you can make it through, but it takes a good amount of communication to make it through well. Yeah. Look, you can make it through not well. We did with our first child, and it's tough, but I think just knowing her, she literally just, her shoulders relaxed when I told her, oh, we did too. It's okay. She was like, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Because just having her understand that she wasn't alone, because she didn't talk about it with anybody. And that's, again, why you're doing what you do and we do what we do, is because people need to know that, because I think people get really scared.
Right. Well, and one thing that I always try to remind moms of too, especially first-time moms, is you're learning how to be a parent for your child, but your child's also learning how to function in this world outside of their womb. This is your guys' both first times. So your kid is learning just as much as you are, and a lot of times we're just the moms focus on themselves. Like, I'm trying to be a mom, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, your baby's trying to be a baby. They're trying to function and get through in this life as well. And obviously you're the one guiding them, but, and it's your partner's first time being a dad and learning how to support you. It's anybody's first time doing anything is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's all a learning experience.
It is.
One thing that one of you said, and I don't know which one said it. I don't know why. I love that. I feel like your guys' voices sound a lot alike. But talking about sex after having kids, that's something that we talk about on here, because one thing that we just hear a lot of is, I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But one of you said sex after kids is so important for your relationship.
Yes.
We both think that.
Yeah. Sex in general for a relationship, is important. But I think that it's sometimes you have to force yourself out of what you're feeling, and then you will remember you enjoy it. Because sometimes it's funny. I get this thing where I get touched out by the end of a day because I have both my kids hanging all over me all the time, that I have a visceral reaction to just being touched, which I've never had before. And once I communicated that to my husband, and I actually had a doctor communicate that to him as well, he took it less personal. And as soon as he backed off, then I wanted it. It's almost like you give each other a little bit of room to breathe. You kind of almost have to get to know each other again as a couple when you have kids, and that includes sex. You have to respect boundaries. You have to read emotions. You have to read exhaustion, all of that. But you also have to recognize needs, and it's an important thing to connect with each other.
And I also think there are different people who have different needs. Some men and women need sex all the time. Some men and women don't. For me, I'm okay. I could go a couple weeks and be I'm totally fine. And honestly, I know this sounds really bad, but, and my husband is burnt out. He comes home from work, puts the kids to bed, literally, the only hour and a half he sees them at the end of the day, and then sits and does more work. It's nothing sexy. He's tired, I'm tired, he's doing more work. I know this doesn't sound good, but we almost need to force ourselves to have a day of sex to do it. And then it's great when we do it. And I know it's shitty that we're forcing ourselves, but we just don't have the drive that we used to. And I'm okay with that. I'm not ashamed of it.
There needs to be no comparison in anything.
And my friends' husbands are oh, no, he needs to have sex with me on a nightly basis. And I'm holy shit.
God.
Thank God that's not my husband, because
that's a nightmare.
I would die.
Yeah.
But that's, that's not me. It's not me. And I'm sure my husband would be very happy having sex every night, but the truth is it's not going to happen. So I need to put it in my calendar.
You can feel connected in many different ways, but I think that sex is it's an important reminder to be oh yeah, I still like to do this with you.
Yeah. Try to force yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. I have someone close to me who's a mother of 4, and sex is in their calendar. And one thing that she told me, she was even if I'm not in the mood, I'm all right, yeah, we should probably do it. And then I always get in the mood. You know, she's I'm always glad that we did it.
I always compare it to a movie.
You're never going to be bummed you had sex at the end.
Yes, I always compare it to a movie. I'm not the biggest go to the theater type of person, and Neil is. But every time I go see a movie, I walk out, I'm damn, we should do this more often.
Yeah,
it's the same thing for me.
It's going to a movie for Jenna.
Yep, that's all.
It's just awesome that you guys are open about these things and don't shy away from talking about it, and provide that platform on your podcast too. For people to connect. Well, I feel like there's so many comparisons out there now for people to try to be perfect, like we talked about before, or look at my perfect mom life. And you're cool, good for you. But, let's be real about things for a minute here.
And some people could have a pretty perfect life, for sure. Just the majority don't.
Right.
So it exists,
Sure,
I don't know.
To you. And that's why there should be 101 mom podcasts out there, because there's there's a million different types of moms.
Yeah.
But we're a particular crew here, and we we shouldn't be doing this if we're not being honest, because what's the point then? This is like we said, this is a place for us to lay it all out there, and other moms that feel the same can feel heard.
Yeah. Well, you talked about at the beginning how this kind of all organically came together and took off. And I think that's a testament to you guys standing in your truth and, you know, just being transparent for people. They love that. People love transparency because it's so relatable.
Yeah, of course.
But we both appreciate it.
And I feel like I could see right through people, and I want them to think that about us.
And also, too, it's like when we said what we said with motherhood, like, who's got the time? No one's got the time to be anything but real at this point. Like, I don't have time for any bullshit. BS. There you go. You said
sorry.
It.
Oh my God.
Can you curse on yours? We curse on ours all the time. That's why we have to be cautious.
Yeah. No, there's like some cursing. We try not to use like the F word, but
we'll refrain.
We can always beep it out if it happens. So one aspect of your podcast that's cool is you have the mom win and the mom fail, and you have your guests come on do that as well. What kind of inspired you guys to want to do that?
Well, I mean, I think that it's just about being able to celebrate, but also commiserate. We want all moms to feel safe doing both, because I think we very rarely talk about how great we're doing. In general, I think people in life don't give themselves enough permission to celebrate like their wins and their successes. They feel like, you know, they sound like they're speaking from their ego, or that people are going to be threatened by it. And no, as moms, whether the win is just getting out of the house that day, or having a seamless, smooth day with your kids, and then having sex with your husband and making dinner and feeling great and being able to shave your legs, like all of those things, those are all things that we need to celebrate for each other. And then fails, because we need to be able to be honest about things, because when you're honest and open about whether it's a shortcoming or a mistake or whatever it is, you'll realize, A, you're not alone, B, other people have done it, and then C, you'll find solutions and tools that other moms that have been there can help give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I concur.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that is very important. Yeah. For everyone listening, you definitely have to check out their podcast. It's called Mama Said. And it comes out every single week, right?
Yeah. Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
I can't wait for Wednesdays. I can't. Like, I'm always so excited.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I know people who don't listen to their own podcast.
It's a good way to break up the week. It'll be like Wednesday, our podcast comes out today.
What would be really great is if it was hump day, podcast day, and I had sex on Wednesdays.
Maybe you should do that now.
I'm going to do it.
Put it in your calendar.
Okay.
I know
in my
text you every Thursday morning.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I have to ask Jenna the Delta question, because I was listening to your guys' podcast, and you have the win and the fail, and Jenna let a Delta coupon expire that was worth $2,000 for plane tickets, right?
Like $1,500, yeah.
Okay. And it expired the day or two before, and you called them, and they're like, there's nothing we could do.
Yep. And actually, a couple things happened. One, this really nice man from like the 1-800-DELTA number gave me miles, me and my husband miles. It didn't equate to what I lost, but he was really nice. But then, and I talked about it today on the podcast, someone, podcast listener that works for Delta Corporate, DM'd me and told me that she would help me, and she helped me.
That's so amazing.
My money back.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. Not all of it. I had used a big portion of it. There was like $1,000 gift certificate and a $500. I used $800 of the $1,000. So that one she couldn't do anything about. She gave me back my $500 one. That's a lot of freaking money.
That is so nice.
And
this is what I mean. Is you put your fail out there thinking you're being vulnerable, and then look what happened.
It's funny that you said that, because I mentioned it today, and I'm just like so happy, and my husband's so happy, and I'm like, see, honey,
it pays to be a celeb.
Yeah, right. No, but I was like, I'll fix anything. Moms fix everything.
Yes.
Give something to a mama, and they'll get it done.
Love it.
I think that's why I love the name of your podcast too, Mama Said, because I feel like there's days where I still need my mom.
Yes.
Oh my God. My mom has been texting me this entire time. I'm like, oh my God, my phone needs to like go away. Yeah, I always talk to my mom.
Yeah,
20,000
we
times,
always need our mom.
Oh, I was telling my husband that I was having you guys on the podcast. He's like, who are you recording with today? And I was telling him, oh, these ladies from Mama Said. And I said, it's Jamie-Lynn Sigler. And he goes, Jamie-Lynn Sigler? She's a total babe.
Thank you. I never feel like that anymore, so I'll take it when it happens.
So I was like, oh, I'll have to tell her that.
Oh, you made my day. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, if anybody wants to check out your podcast, it comes out every Wednesday. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to share?
Just that we're
thank you for
so
having
grateful.
us on.
Yeah.
You're so sweet, and I think it's great what you're doing. And like you said, I mean, all these podcasts are out there to help and create community and support. And I think it's great what you're doing. And I'm excited for you to become a mom one day.
Yeah, thank you. Me too.
To us.
Yep.
Yes, I will for sure. Check them out every Wednesday. Mama Said for some amazing content and some very real raw momness going on.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you.
You too. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.